Well, where do we start, people? Like, where do we start? What do we say about that? What a game of football. What heartbreak at the end. Can you feel gutted and heartbreak and pride at the same time? Yeah, maybe. I guess that's why I'm feeling so many emotions. The obvious question, is it a good point? Not in the context of being 2-1 up with, seconds to go. But yes, in the context of 10 men against Man City at the Etihad with a ridiculous red card. I mean, swing it however you want, people. People will stomach this differently, and I appreciate all opinions in this. But in this match report, as Arsenal draw 2-2 at the Etihad, we're going to try and make sense. I'll catch my breath. We're going to try and make sense of a really blockbuster game. And listen, that was blockbuster. That was fiery. That was angry. And look, City might have the euphoria of the last-minute equaliser, but they won't have any real positives about a draw there, because they played so much of the game having led at 1-0 up, then playing so much of the game against 10 men and not leaving themselves enough time after getting an equaliser to try and win it. So I think both teams will come off disappointed, and that's why Arsenal need to shake this off quickly and realise that they can take so many positives out of this. But look, let's try and make sense of a result that ultimately my overriding feeling is pride, and I am proud of this team. I really am. It just reminds me, just that equaliser just reminded me quickly, I'm jumping to the end quickly, that equaliser reminded me of when Rodri scored so late against us when we had 10 men and it was a defeat and you knew for all your efforts you're coming away with nothing. With this, we come away with a lot more, and there's parallels with that in the Brighton game. So let's go through them, why I feel a lot differently to this than I do to other somewhat comparable games. Look, the game started with the news that Ben White wasn't starting. He was on the bench, Timber right back, brilliant again, Calafiori left back. We go 1-0 down and we've gone man for man. We've gone to press them. We've gone to chase them round. We've gone to force them into errors. But let's be honest, City were having their fun with us. And Savinho, with a lovely turn from Calafiori, gets done a bit too easily, then rolls it into the path of Haaland, who toe pokes it past Raya. And that was superb from him. He did really well. And I thought, oh my word, Haaland's having one of his days. But then Arsenal regroup. Now, I think it's two things. It's a good mentality. We started to play. We believed in what we were doing. We got on the ball and off we went. But the Rodri injury is a big part of this. So ball comes into the box from a corner and Rodri sprinted to the near post with Partey goes, and he feels he's holding like the back of his knee and he's off the pitch. And look, you can't praise a player of Rodri's calibre and then say it doesn't make a difference when he comes off. It makes a difference. Losing him was big, and Arsenal had to take advantage of the momentum swinging away from City, because Gundogan had just had a lovely touch and hit go wide, which I think an informed Gundogan does better with. There was the effort from Gundogan that hit the post as well. So there were three moments, including the goal, that City had Arsenal a bit rattled, and us fans going, oh no. But we wrestled momentum back after getting through that wave, and then Rodri coming off injured. After that, Arsenal start to play a little bit. Now, after winning a free kick, Partey switches the ball out to Martinelli. Now, Walker's complaining because he's been called over by Michael Oliver. But after being called over, apparently we've been allowed to play quite quickly, so Walker can't get back in position. I don't know. I didn't see Walker sprinting over to get back into position, if I'm honest. So quite frankly, I think City might have a case, but a lot happens after that. Marte takes him on, moves inside, rolls back to Calafiori, rifles it into the side netting. Really good finish, and what a way to A, atone for the error on the goal when you're done by Savinho, but B, announce yourself as an Arsenal player. Fantastic hit, and Arsenal at that point actually start getting on the ball and playing. Now, there was one moment where Arsenal threw a punch at City and it should have been a warning sign, because from a corner I noticed that City had all their tallest men near the front post, Diaz, Haaland, whoever it might be, Akanji, and Arsenal recognised that and they went over them. Saka went over them and Gabriel headed over the bar. Arsenal learned from that a second time. You're not going to let Gabriel get away with another. Swung in and Gabriel powers it into the net, and it's 2-1 Arsenal. We're leading at the Etihad. Now, just before half-time, Trossard gets a booking for a pull. I do think it's a yellow card, letter of the law and all that. But Doku kicked the ball away and escaped with nothing. So if you're going to apply the letter of the law then for Trossard and then for the kick away later, you've got to apply it for Doku too. This is what we talk about when we come to consistency. Let me explain what happened and then I'll rant. So the ball is in the air. Trossard goes with Bernardo Silva. A little bit of a nudge. That might have been a foul. You could have given a foul for excessive force on the nudge and just given City the free kick, but he doesn't. Trossard goes to actually play the ball, like kick it into the direction the Martinelli's in to run and try and counter. But he gets done. But he gets done by the referee, who blows for the foul. And the referee goes, you've kicked it away. You've delayed the restart. Second yellow, red. Only Arsenal in Premier League history have been sent off for 2 yellows of this magnitude, and they've both happened in the last 3-4 weeks. I tell you why this is utter nonsense, and why the PGMOL and Michael Oliver and Howard Webb and Chris Kavanagh and every single one of them should hang their heads in shame, not only because they're absolutely appalling at their jobs. The standard of officiating in this league is horrendous. It is appalling. They are so often, so frequently, and I include everyone in the VAR room, they're so frequently getting things wrong. Big, high-profile decisions, easy decisions, they're getting them wrong. There is no accountability with them. There is no logic in their decisions. There is constant, making of excuses, explaining, even if what they say one week contradicts what they said in previous weeks. And they are, quite frankly, a joke of an organisation. They really are. They are, they are so bad for the Premier League because we are talking about them too much. Now, what annoys me is, if you want to apply the letter of the law, Doku should get a yellow card too, but he doesn't do that. And across the board, the standard that the PGMOL have set for the Premier League this weekend is that Lisandro Martinez can 2-foot jump into a tackle, yellow card, you're fine, no red. That's the standard they've set. So don't get mad when someone else does that, but they don't catch the other player. Don't get mad when they do that. They've set the standard that you can grab someone's wrist as they're driving into the penalty area. As the, who was it? Was it Fofana? Did it on, was it Fofana or Tosin Adarabioyo? Did it on Somerville. He's running behind for West Ham. You can grab the wrist. You can grab it. It wasn't excessive grabbing, so we won't give a penalty. That's the standard they've set. And what was the other one? Vicario. Handballing the ball already. It looks like a slightly, out the penalty area, but then he does it again just to make absolute sure you're allowed to do that. So goalkeepers, you now know you've got an extra yard or 2 to play with. That's the standards that the PGMOL have set this weekend. Now, if people want to talk about, well, technically Trossard did, well, technically Trossard should have heard. People, well, can we get in the real world? Can we get in the real world? Like with Declan Rice, like with Trossard, these players are thinking about everything. Their jobs defensively, the counter-attack, the positions they got to get in, fighting for the badge, all these things. It's a high-profile, high-caliber game, high-intensity game. And you can see in the motion of the kick, he's not blasted it. He's looked to prod that. He gets a bit of force behind him. He's looked to prod that into Martinelli. You can actually see on the replay, he looks at Martinelli before he does it. But Michael Oliver really quick to give the yellow because he assumed. Because he doesn't know for sure that's a second yellow, but he's assumed and he's given it. It's nonsense. And it ruined the game. It ruined the spectacle. But Arsenal fought so hard to the end. They fought to the end. 5-4, bank of 5, bank of 4, protecting their goal. Raya with some big saves. Saliba and Gabriel some big blocks. And then ultimately, I think where I do have some criticism for Arsenal, and I will say this, is I think we switched off too early. Saliba with a good block at the end, and he's really celebrating. Cross into the box that Raya claims, and they're all over, sort of celebrating with him. I think they went a little bit too early, and I think they just need to keep focused that little bit longer. And I think that might have just... Look, when the ball comes out to Kovacic to hit it, they're all so deep. But what I will say is they do get a block. It's a lucky deflection, and City put it into the back of the net. So, yeah, I think we were robbed. Do we hold on with 11 men? Probably, but, you never know with football, right? You never know. I think we probably offer more of a threat. So many players I want to shout out. Havertz, the work rate. Martinelli, the work rate. I thought Partey was brilliant on and off the ball. What a performance. But every single one of them kept fighting. The centre-backs, everyone. I don't really know, anyone I can pick out for anything other than flawless commitment to defending in the cause. Well done to the team. Well done to them. It's a shame. We lick our wounds. But also a draw, and look, I'll say it, I would have taken a draw before the game. In the context, it hurts. But we're undefeated, having gone to Villa Park, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and to Manchester City. We've conceded 3 goals, and 2 of them were with 10 men on the pitch. There is so much Arsenal doing right. And do you know what? One for the neutrals, this. We gave some bite back to the Premier League, didn't we? We put some ferocity, that's the word, some ferocity back in. Haaland and Gabriel having scraps. Rodri and Havertz, like moments like that are like vintage Barclays, like giving you a proper title race. Teams that hate each other, like none of this like, oh no, you're brilliant, no, you're brilliant, no, Klopp, you're amazing, no, Pep, you're amazing. And don't get me wrong, Liverpool and City in terms of high caliber performances from an attacking perspective just gave us wonder games, but this had a bite to it, which is great to see, and I hope it remains for the rest of the title race. City have come out of this game, ahead of us. And you know what's interesting? You all ripped me for celebrating when we drew this fixture and it was a draw that left us 2 points ahead of City. Well, City fans, I'm really wondering whether they're going to celebrate this. Ultimately, 2 points ahead of us, but a draw. We'll see. Lots of positives, Arsenal, and I think this result will age well for us. But it's a shame in the context of what happened. Everyone let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Man of the match, Partey for me. But lots were worthy of it. Arsenal, I'm proud. Beat Bolton. Go on to the next game. Great effort. We move on to the next. We can win this league.